Uganda's government has called the country's doctors unprofessional, selfish, and patriotic and enemies of the people after calling for a sit-down strike in 2017, demanding better pay and improved working conditions. Halima Athumani spent a night at a Ugandan hospital and shows us the challenges doctors face.
Lack of adequate drugs and other medical supplies and understaffing, while the few health workers have to give their all to handle patients. Uganda's doctor-to-patient ratio is estimated at 1 to 25,700, yet the World Health Organization recommends one physician per 1,000 people. Nakaseke Hospital, 136 kilometers northwest of Kampala, serves 5 neighboring districts. In the 50-bed postnatal ward, 22 mothers and 14 babies are being watched over by one senior nurse and doctor. Mariam Kabuzi, a new mother of twins, was separated from her babies because the hospital does not have a neonatal intensive care unit or several prescribed drugs. Kalunji Yunus is Mariam's father.
There
is not enough medicine. They gave her 3 different prescriptions, but the hospital was only able to give us 2, so I had to buy the 3rd from an outside clinic.
In the operating room, a mother is suffering from obstructed labor. With just 2 doctors and a nursing assistant, an emergency cesarean section operation gets underway and will last for about an hour. While there is an anesthetic machine, the lack of halogen gas to put patients to sleep during the operation renders it idle and sealed. Working with little, the doctors struggle through the night operations, knowing they could lose the patients. But against all odds, the operations end well, and 2 girls are born within a space of 3 hours.
We were working on the 2. And it's not by choice, but by the number of staff that we can organize. So ideally, staffing is still a problem.
The 2018-2019 financial year saw the Ministry of Health budget increased to $594 million from $470 million. Slight increases were given to local government health centers for primary health care, wages and medical and health supplies. But Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Twine argues the lack of adequate medical supplies can be successfully handled if the incidence of disease is reduced.
So our target now as a sector is to reduce on the disease burden, to make sure that all the preventable diseases are reduced. Once we reduce, then the money will be saved to cater for, lifestyle. And even the lifestyle, that's why we are talking about sickle cell, that's why we are talking about diabetes, hypertension, even those non-communicable diseases.
But the situation remains dire in these hospitals, where one could mistake an operating room for a slaughterhouse. Halima Athumani for VOA News, Nakaseke, Uganda.
The Victim Support Fund is providing agricultural inputs to about 4,000 households in communities affected by Boko Haram attacks in Nigeria's northeast through the intervention. The beneficiaries from Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states will be able to join other farmers in the current cropping season.
Farmers across the country are busy planting, as the climatic condition is one in which a wide variety of crops can thrive. All hands are on deck, men, women, and in some cases children. But not all farming communities are able to be at their farms to do what they know how to do best, especially those displaced by repeated attacks by Boko Haram insurgents. Food is one of the basic needs of survival for both humans and animals, and getting as many people as possible involved in its production is good for the country. But that's not the major reason why farming communities in Nigeria's northeast, who were displaced by Boko Haram attacks, are being encouraged to return to the farm, according to the Victims Support Fund, which is providing agricultural inputs to about 4,000 households. Such people need to urgently get back to being economically independent.
Victim Support Fund is not just about reconstructing physical infrastructure. More important to us is how we touch the person, how we touch the people, the human beings that have been affected by this insurgency. And now that communities are beginning to return, we see it as a matter of priority and urgency to support people to return.
Adamawa State prides itself on the numerous agrarian communities within its territory and support given to farmers. According to the Commissioner for Agriculture, the intervention by the VSF is possible because communities which are previously inaccessible are now peaceful.
The brief disturbance to this by the insurgency, the Boko Haram insurgency, a very painful disturbance that took the lives of thousands of our people, that destroyed property, and that deprived us of our livelihoods for several years, is coming to an end. Evidence of this is that people, groups like the Victim Support Fund are able to come with us to Gulag without fear of attack or anything.
Beneficiaries are happy and sure that the intervention will go a long way towards making life easier.
We appreciate their effort, and we'll be very glad to make sure that at least we utilize what they have given us, and we will make sure that at least these things given to us, we shall not sell it.
The items distributed to the farmers include maize, cowpeas, rice, liquid fertilizer, pesticides, herbicides and sprayers, amongst others. There are also provisions to cater for the farmers' financial needs by organizing them into savings and loans associations of 20 people each.
It's time now for a short break. Before we go, we'd like to remind you to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and other programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come, how superheroes are breaking down stereotypes in Hollywood. That and other stories in a moment.